There's actually one question I've been getting a lot, and I feel like we can open with this. People have been asking my opinion on the new Halloween Ends film.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I know that I wasn't here last Sunday. I needed to take a personal day for myself, mental health, and you guys had done Seed of the Witch, which I quite enjoy that movie, and I felt like this new Halloween movie, Halloween Ends, feels like it's almost paying homage to Seed of the Witch. And now listen, while I don't feel like this movie is as good as the 1978 film, or even certainly not as good as 2018, still thought it was a huge improvement over Kills.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that it took the risk of like, hey, we're not really going to focus on Michael Myers this time. We're going to focus on this new character of Corey Cunningham, his relationship with Allison and Laurie Strode. And, I thought it was very brave. And listen, not that the movie didn't have problems or flaws.
Sure.
I'm like, can we just move away from these psychotic Stephen King-esque bullies that constantly appear in everything? Or even these characters that are just there to be like meat and just to die, and they're just detestable.
But isn't that a part of the whole thing?
I feel like that was like a trope for the longest time, but now we've gotten horror films, like even with 2018. I point to 2018 oftentimes, saying, look at all those characters that died in those movies. Some of them, like, whether or not they had a lot of depth, they had personality and you liked them. And when they did that, I was like, oh no, like I always point to that babysitter in 2018 that was with the kid.
Oh no, absolutely. Did not want her to die. Just as with the new one, with Halloween Ends, everything that happens with Corey, it's like, oh man, I hate that for this guy. But there were characters in 2018 who were, I remember one dude on the other side of an iron fence running around, and it's like, it was like, I'm just waiting for you to get it.
Yeah. He was like a goofy. He was the goofy fat guy character. I mean, he's gonna get killed. He's the goofy fat guy. If you like the movie, dislike the movie, I think that's fine. But I think it's just a little obnoxious. People are saying this is by far the worst movie of all time. It's a little too much.
Especially when you've done this enough to know that those people who say this will, years later, 10 years later, have some reason to rewatch it and go, oh, I hated this movie before, but it's really not that bad.
Oh, here's a question. Then we'll move on to the other stories. This is from Edward Collins. Have you watched Chucky season 2? I have not watched Chucky season 2.
But I didn't finish season 1.
Yeah, I really like season. You weren't the biggest fan of it.
I wasn't, but I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't even think it was bad. It was just I don't know. It just wasn't doing it for me.
I get you.
It had a little bit too much Disney Channel to me.
Is it like with the young middle school kid characters? Is that the thing?
Yes. Yes. The drama that was going on with the main kid and everybody at school, it was just like, man, these must come in a kit, in a package. They get used over and over.
It's a template.
On the Disney and the Netflix shows and everything. And it's like, all right. Well, I've seen this a bunch, not with a murderous doll, but
yeah. I understand that. I was kind of impressed that they actually got kids that looked like they are in middle school. Because so often they say, we're in middle school. It's like, no, you're not. You're in your 20s. Or even for high school students. I was like, wow, you actually did a good job with that. And I don't know, it was again, it's unique because we don't often see like a gay romance like handled like well at all. Where I feel like it's just kind of it's overdone. It's like that is it's over exaggerated.
Yeah.
And here it felt like really natural. I thought, oh yeah, probably because it helps that Don Mancini is who's the creator of Chucky, is also gay.
Oh, okay.
And so that worked. Child's Play is interesting. It's one of those slasher franchises that's weathered pretty well. Like the first one is pretty good. The second one I think is great. Child's Play 2 is my favorite. Yeah. Child's Play 3 because I've been rewatching them in preparation for season 3, and I've been doing reviews and reactions on my own channel. And Child's Play 3 was the kind of the one where it's like, all right, it's not bad, but it's kind of like, spinning its wheels a little bit. And then they brought it back with Bride of Chucky by adding in Jennifer Tilly. She was fun. The worst one, I feel like, the only bad one at least I've seen is Seed of Chucky, where it just became a straight up like comedy and not a particularly very funny one.
Oh, well, but Bride of Chucky was a comedy.
It is. I guess, for me, the humor in Bride of Chucky worked, where in Seed of Chucky, I felt it just didn't. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And I didn't see the 2 direct-to-VOD ones, but everyone says those are great.
Well, it seems like what Chucky has going for him that the other franchise don't is that there aren't so many, and it took long breaks in between.
I guess it's true. Yeah, I mean, 88, 91. Yeah, I mean, I guess there was, especially after 3 and then into Bride of Chucky, there was a pretty long break where everyone's like year after year, every 2 years. So that's a good point. And they had time to think about what kind of stories they wanted.
When you get to Michael and especially Jason and Freddy,
Jesus. Yeah.
they're just scrambling to come up.
Yep.
We want to make a new one. Guys, come up with something. Like there's never that.
Send 'em into
I got a
space.
great idea for that.
Send him into space.
Yeah.
Have it where Michael is possessed by a Celtic demon. Let's do that. What? So, yeah. Chucky's one of those ones that have been more consistent than others. And also the Scream franchise, I would say. Certainly 1, 2, and 4, which I really hold up, are great in my opinion. I like the Child's Play remake. I dug that. The one with Mark Hamill.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't do as much as I thought it could, but for the most part, I thought,
For the I have very low expectations for those kind of things, and it was a little bit above those.
yeah, same. I agree.